Imagine receiving thousands of text messages from someone you had barely dated. Imagine that person following you online for years, threatening you, threatening your friends, your loved ones, vandalizing properties, setting fires. And no matter what you did, they would not leave you alone. This is the case of Carrie Farver, and one of the most twisted stalking cases ever investigated. In the fall of 2012, David Krupa was enjoying a fresh start. After ending a long-term relationship, he wasn't looking for anything serious. He had just moved to Omaha, Nebraska, and was very much enjoying the freedom that came with casual dating. One of the women that he had met online was a software developer named Carrie Farver. Carrie was intelligent, independent, and a very devoted mother to her teenage son. And the two of them hit it off immediately, and neither one of them was looking for some commitment either. At least that's what Dave thought. The two of them spent time together over a couple of weeks, and around that same time, Dave was also dating a woman named Liz. He was upfront about not wanting exclusivity. He didn't want to be exclusive. For a while, everything was good. It was Gucci. And then November 13th arrived. After that night, nothing would ever be normal again. On November 14th, Dave woke up to a message from Carrie that took him completely off guard. According to the text, Carrie wanted to move in with him immediately. Dave could not believe that. They'd only known each other a short time. Like 2 weeks. 2! He very politely declined Carrie, and she very much did not like that. Within hours, angry messages started to pour in. And then more and more and more. Soon he was drowning in these texts, and they were getting increasingly hostile. Yeah. Carrie had accused him of using her, manipulating her, leading her on. So to Dave, this was just the relationship ending badly. What he didn't realize was it was only the beginning, dude. I'm so sorry, Dave. So while Carrie was messaging Dave, other odd things were happening in Carrie's life. She kind of seemed to have just vanished. She missed work, friends didn't know where she was, family was getting concerned. But every time that they were trying to figure out where she was at, she would message them saying she was fine and that she just wanted to be left alone. Which is actually not the biggest stretch ever, because there are a lot of adults that will just be like, I'm done, I want a new start, and they'll pack up and leave. But this was, for Carrie, odd behavior. Even though she kept reassuring that she was fine, the people who truly knew her wasn't totally convinced. Walking away without a word did not sound like Carrie at all. However, she was clearly going through something with the way her behavior came towards Dave. The messages just kept coming. Months passed, and then years. The texts never stopped. In fact, they did the opposite of stop. They got worse and worse. And it kind of spread to everybody around Dave. Was kind of getting those jabs of messages. Just thousands upon thousands of messages, threats, just kept on coming. Insults and accusations even. Carrie seemingly fell into a deep hole of obsession. Authorities believed they were dealing with a dangerous stalker, someone obsessed with Dave and unwilling to let go. Liz Golier I think I said that right. The other woman that Dave was seeing had also started receiving threatening messages. According to Liz, she was being stalked by Carrie aggressively. Her tires were damaged, her property had been getting vandalized. Threats appeared, and fear began to consume Liz. Then tragedy struck. One day, a fire erupted from Liz's home. Several beloved pets died in the blaze. That would be horrific. I couldn't even imagine. Carrie had finally gone too far. Years had went by, but Carrie's family refused to give up. They kept asking the same questions. Where was Carrie? Why was she not talking to her son? Why had she abandoned her entire life? Why had she left all of her personal belongings? Why wasn't she using her money? Why had no one actually seen her? All of this led Carrie to a dark question. All of this led them to ask a dark question. Was Carrie even alive? The more investigators looked, the stranger the situation became. Carrie existed everywhere digitally, but nowhere physically. It was as if she became a ghost. Eventually, investigators began to look deeper. Investigators launched an extensive digital forensic investigation. They examined years of emails, text messages, social media posts, IP addresses, and cell phone records. They investigated every electronic breadcrumb left behind. And at first, everything pointed to Carrie. But then there was another pattern, really disturbing pattern. Many of the messages that were supposed to be from Carrie weren't coming from random locations. They were originating from places connected to someone else in the case. Somebody much closer to the case. Someone everyone believed was a victim. As investigators followed the trail, the truth became impossible to ignore. The person sending messages wasn't Carrie, and it never had been. Investigators determined that Carrie Farver most likely had been murdered shortly after the last time she was seen alive in 2012. The woman everyone believed was stalking Dave wasn't stalking anyone. She was already passed away. They concluded that someone had stolen Carrie's identity. So for years, someone had been creating fake accounts and sending thousands of texts under Carrie's name. That person was Liz Gaulier, the same woman that had been claimed she was being terrorized. The woman everyone had felt sorry for. The woman who appeared to be another target, which by the way means she was the one that set the fire, killing her own pets. I can't even wrap my head around it. Even without Carrie's body, there was overwhelming amount of evidence against Liz. Digital evidence, blood evidence, photographs, years of deception. Together the pieces painted a chilling picture. In 2017, Liz Gaulier was convicted of first-degree murder and arson. She was sentenced to life in prison. To this day, Carrie's body has never been found, but the court determined what her family had known all along. Carrie Farver never abandoned her son. She never became a stalker. She never disappeared by choice. She was a victim. I'm glad the record was set straight. Carrie didn't deserve what happened to her. My condolences to her loved ones. The most frightening part of this case isn't the murder. It's the illusion. For years, friends, family members, law enforcement, and victims believed Carrie Farver was alive, sending messages, making threats, destroying lives. But the person behind the screen was someone else entirely. A woman who managed to convince almost everyone that the victim was actually the villain. and investigators hadn't followed the digital trail, the truth might never have been discovered. Because sometimes the most dangerous monsters are not hiding in the shadows. They are hiding behind a keyboard. Stay safe, everyone, and I will see